Chapter 3457 ended. What is Qin Xiu doing? Does he not want to kill Bauer? Moon God was confused as she looked at Tai Yi. Anyone was able to tell that if Qin Xiu wanted to kill Bauer, it would not be difficult. Bauer was strong, but her experience and ability to control things was far inferior to Qin Xiu. Tai Yi shook his head and said, "No. You do not understand human alpha or Qin Xiu. If he behaves like this, it means he wants to kill Bauer." "What sense does that make?" Moon God asked. "He can torture and kill. That should not be difficult for him. After helping Bauer grow up, why would he also want to kill her? I cannot see that being viable." Tai Yi was frozen. He looked at Qin Xiu strangely and said, "Human Alpha and Old Leader, and the other Old Leader, had a conflict with each other. Regarding what exactly happened, I do not know. There is one thing I know for sure, which is the fact that he harbors much hatred. That is especially true toward Bauer. In my past life, Human Alpha was the child of the Old Leader, and the other Old Leader. His life was given by them. Bauer's heritage, however, is very complicated. With Qin Xiu's personality being what it is, if he wants to kill Bauer, he would at the very least like to give Bauer a chance. He wanted the Old Leader and the Old Hall Leader to know that even if Bauer did as they wished, evolving into the best she could be, she was still going to lose to Qin Xiu. He does not want to just win easily. He wants to exact vengeance on everyone. He wants to break the hearts of the Old Leader and the Old Hall Leader." "Is he really that confident about it?" Moon God asked with a frown. "Does he think he can beat a perfectly shaped Bauer? After all, Bauer is the product of the Old Leader and Old Hall Leader. If she really made it to the max, there is a chance that Qin Xiu might not win. If he did not have this confidence and pride, he would not be the real Qin Xiu," Tai Yi said with a sigh. Moon God's face looked to be riddled with concern. She understood Qin Xiu more than Tai Yi, and Tai Yi's judgment was almost correct. Chaos knew Qin Xiu was going to kill Bauer this time. This was Bauer's last chance. "Bauer, you must win." No matter how much Chaos tried to calm down, she was still a bit in shock. Qin Xiu made an arrogant gesture. He had deliberately behaved this way to make her feel a lot of pressure. It was like before the real deathmatch was to begin, Bauer had already failed. Qin Xiu was still suppressing Bauer. He was going to squeeze out every inch of potential Bauer had. Bauer's body was wreathed in gold fire. Qin Xiu's suppression of her made things very dim. It was concentrated in the gold armor, and it made the gold armor more like concentrated crystal. The gold light was floating around, looking like it was going to explode at any second. Still not enough? In that case, let us try again. Qin Xiu's punch was like a purple sun that was shining. He punched toward Bauer's belly. In the past, Qin Xiu's attacks were meant to just suppress and not deal damage. This time, it hit Bauer's body. The purple sun's punching power struck Bauer's armor. It created cracks across the surface of Bauer's gold armor that looked like a spider web. A suppressive gold flame burst out of the gold armor cracks. The fire suddenly wrapped up Bauer's body. In the explosion of gold light, Bauer's body became stronger. The fire turned into a gourd shadow that shielded Bauer's body. The shadow of the gourd was like a small universe that had lots of light shadows spinning. They gave people a mysterious and weird sort of feeling. Bauer has finally reached the max of her potential. She has created her own universe. Chaos was shocked and happy. She was happy about Bauer reaching her and the Old Hall Leader's expectations. Now that Bauer had been pushed to this level, it meant she would have to properly engage in a deathmatch with Qin Xiu. It was guaranteed that Qin Xiu would not hold back this time. Such a perfect body. I just do not know if she has what it takes to defeat Qin Xiu. Tai Yi looked at the gourd light shadow of Bauer's body and sighed. Crepe Myrtle was watching this fight very seriously. He knew this was a fight in which there was going to be a winner determined. Qin Xiu watched Bauer's flame start to dim. His eyes were on fire as he shouted, "Come, use your strongest powers to fight me. Let's see if you can fulfill the wishes of your parents and kill me." The gold light in Bauer's eyes was like shining glass. Space around became virtual because of her existence. Everything was becoming virtual and unreal. Bauer was staring at Qin Xiu. She put her hands together, making countless gold flames gather around her hands. She slowly turned into a gold gourd. The gourd was one big and one small ball combined. Inside the two-ball shape was a separate universe of its own. Countless stars spun around inside there. All those beautiful energies exploded. It was like a whole universe was being made inside it. When Baoer's two-universe gourd was generated to the max, her eyes froze. The gourd spat out a beautiful golden light. It suddenly landed on Qin Xiu. The power was incredibly scary. Many elites watching it from afar felt the light beam's power. Upon feeling it, their hearts jumped. They almost coughed up blood. They could not imagine what it must have been like to block that light. Everything in front of that light was absorbed and dissolved. Space had a vacuum zone. It was unknown if the light beam was just too fast or if Qin Xiu was not planning on avoiding it, but Qin Xiu's purple air arose. It was like a universal river was surrounding him. It was the same universe-class power that Baoer had. Pang! The gold and the purple, those two universe powers, collided against each other. The systems around melted. Countless planets suddenly vanished. It was like they had just disappeared. In fact, it was not just the planets. Everything between Baoer and Qin Xiu vanished. It created an absolute vacuum zone. Fortunately, they were just one system away from each other. If they were a universe away from each other, the whole universe would have been destroyed by them. All of the spirits and creatures were shocked. Baoer and Qin Xiu's fight had reached a level in which they could destroy planets. If they kept on fighting, the universe was sure to be broken. Under the force of the scary power striking, Baoer was unable to control her power or retreat for a while. Qin Xiu's body remained stoic and unmoving. Nothing had changed. Qin Xiu opened his mouth and calmly said, "It is just as they thought, but so what if you become perfect?" He walked toward Baoer. Baoer gnashed her teeth and exploded with power. She attacked Qin Xiu. Purple power rose on Qin Xiu's body. One punch after another, he managed to break Baoer's gourd universe power. It made Baoer's body fall back with blood dripping out from her lips. Chaos's face was looking gray. She knew it was already over. Baoer had evolved to the strongest possible being she could be, but she was still unable to defeat Qin Xiu. In that universe, there was no one else who could defeat Qin Xiu. It is over. Tai sighed too. Chapter 3458 Reverse Time and Space. What is Crepe Myrtle waiting for? Tai asked with a frown. Baoer cannot beat Qin Xiu. If he does not reboot the universe now, there will be no chance of rebooting it later. In the Geno Hall, Light Goddess and Moment God, two of the 12 main Annihilation class god spirits, were bewildered. They did not know what Crepe Myrtle was waiting for either. "Mister, this is our final chance," Light Goddess said. "While Baoer has yet to lose, we can reboot the universe and start anew." "Wait a little longer," Crepe Myrtle said to stop her from speaking. "Mister, what can you possibly be waiting for?" Moment God asked. She could tell Crepe Myrtle was waiting for something, but she could not think of what he might be waiting for that might defeat Qin Xiu. If they did not do something while Baoer was stalling Qin Xiu, and Qin Xiu completely unleashed his power, the universe would not be able to be rebooted. "I am waiting for hope," Crepe Myrtle quietly said. Even though that was what he said, a streak of worry crossed his eyes. Hansen had not yet broken the wall and emerged. On top of that, Baoer had lost. It was just as Light Goddess said. If they were to keep waiting and Baoer lost, Hansen would still not have hope. There would be no chance of salvation. His heart hesitated, but Crepe Myrtle was still determined to wait. He did not want to reboot the universe just yet. Crepe Myrtle knew that rebooting the universe would damage a lot. More importantly, it might not even work on Qin Xiu. Light Goddess wished to say something more, but a gold light suddenly shattered. Baoer's battle armor totally cracked. Many purple airs came from the battle armor's cracks and went into her body. It was like many small, toxic snakes were surrounding Baoer's body. It made Baoer's face look very pale. She gnashed her teeth. A gold light kept exploding, but she could not break through the purple air's restrictions. The genes only determine something's beginnings. They can never determine the end. It is a simple concept, but it is something only a very few grasp. Chaos, do you not think that is the case? Qin Xiu looked at Chaos, who had broken space to come. Chaos looked at Baoer as she said to Qin Xiu, "You win. We have lost. Whatever we said in the past is wrong. Are you happy now?" You should let Bauer go. She has no personal vendetta with you. If you hate something so much, why don't you just kill me in its stead? This has nothing to do with Bauer. Qin Xiu did not answer her. He looked to where the Geno Hall was and coldly said, I am human alpha reincarnate, but reincarnation is just a reincarnation. I am Qin Xiu. I am not human alpha. Although because of human king's memory I am willing to do something, it does not mean I want to kill Bauer as human alpha might. Does that mean you are willing to let Bauer go free? Chaos asked with a hint of glee. Qin Xiu said, letting her go or not does not really matter to her. What is that supposed to mean? Chaos's face changed. It means everything will one day begin again, Qin Xiu said. That includes you, me, her, and even my little sister, Wanner. He did not look at how Chaos reacted. He went straight for the Geno tablet. Geno tablet, go and get me Wanner. Qin Xiu spoke softly said as he stood near the Geno tablet. The Geno tablet flashed. A shadow came from the Geno tablet. It was the black-haired Wanner. Wanner was resting in a crystal coffin. It looked as if she was fast asleep. Her pretty eyes were closed, and her eyebrows were set in a frown-like placement. She looked as if she was fast asleep, but it also looked like she had a lot of things going on in her mind. Qin Xiu reached out his hands to touch the crystal coffin. The coffin shattered. Wanner's body fell into Qin Xiu's arms. Wanner, everything will be over soon enough. You are still the nice and beautiful Wanner. All of this is just a dream. After Qin Xiu spoke, his body burst with a purple light. It shone alongside the Geno tablet's light. It was like a sun shining on a sky full of everything. Purple light was shining on the Geno universe and the universe of kingdoms. The whole world had become purple. The purple light seemed to possess a weird piercing power. Even the Geno Hall in space had a purple light. It became a purple hall and another god temple. The purple light was in a jade stone wall. It made the jade stone wall and metal become crystallized. It was like a purple crystal. The world had become a weird, purple, ghost world. It was beautiful and weird, and it also gave people a chill. What is going on? My power. Someone shouted and screamed. They noticed their power was leaking. It came out from their bodies. Even the break world creatures were acting in such a way. The stronger they were, the faster their power left them. It created a purple stream. It was gathering up in the space tablet. Even the Geno Hall and the God Temple God spirits were like this. Space Gardens humans and creatures could not stop their powers from leaking. Bauer leaked out most of the purple light. It was like seawater in the air. It was going for the Geno tablet. The real streams, rivers, lakes, seas, mountains, glaciers, suns, moons, and planets were releasing their power. Everything was realizing its power. All the power went to the Geno tablet. The universe was screaming. What is Qin Xiu doing? He seems to be wielding reboot powers. At the same time, this isn't. Light Goddess could sense her god power start to fade away. She was in shock. Crepe Myrtle let out a wry smile. He really wants to completely reboot the universe. He wants to bring the universe right back to the point Qin Wanner was born, and before the time he even received his blood pulse. That is impossible. Not even a real god spirit can reverse time and space for real. Moment God was a time element, top-class elite. She knew the ability to reverse time and space was just a myth. Not even a godly kind could do it. In theory, there was a time axis. God spirits seemed to be able to go back in time, but that wasn't really the ability to reverse time and space. It was because time and space could not be reversed. Whatever happened, happened. Unless one wiped out what happened, things could not be taken back. If one was able to go back to the past, what one saw and experienced would just be a trace of time. It would not be a real reversal of time. Crepe Myrtle looked at Bauer and said, "It is not entirely impossible to reverse time and space. The rebooting power itself has the authority necessary for erasing time and space, but this authority can only affect the universe itself. The creatures in the universe will be changed by this effect. They cannot go back to their original mode in the universe. Unless there was someone powerful enough to wipe out everything that happened to every single creature, and put the universe back at a certain point. And with the universe's reboot power, you could theoretically reverse time and space. But that is impossible. Reversing time and space for everything in the universe? That would mean everything that has a relation to something would also have to be reversed. That is far too much he needs to wipe. After moment God spoke of this, she looked terrible. Qin Xiu helped Bauer evolve to ultimate mode solely, so he could use her power. It was not just Bauer either. It's also our power. After moment God said that, she looked terrible. Chapter 3459 Reverse Streamlight Goddess saw Crepe Myrtle's body unleash a purple stream. Clearly, his power was also being drained. She quickly said, "Mister, hurry up and reboot the Geno Hall and universe now." The whole Geno Hall was shaking. It was like it was peeling away from space. All of the god spirits knew that it wasn't actually flaking down from space. It was the Geno Hall being peeled away from the rules of the universe. It had lost control of the universe. Clearly, this was because the power of the Geno tablet was too strong. It had become the new universal management tool. It was now replacing the Geno Hall. "Mister, if we do not do the last risky move, it will be too late," Moment God said in a desperate plea for action. "If we keep waiting, I am afraid we will not have another chance." Crepe Myrtle looked at the Geno Hall being peeled away from the universe's core rules. He then looked at the evolution wall. He looked serious, but he did not say a word. A purple stream was gathering everywhere in the universe. A weak life power had almost faded away. They then realized their bodies were undergoing weird changes. After losing their powers, the old and dying creatures started to become young again. In the beginning, they were very excited. It did not take them long to realize it was something scary was unfolding. The two universes' times had reversed. The things that had happened in the past were being reversed. At the same time that the creatures experienced the past, they noticed they were also missing something. While they were trying to remember what it was they were going to forget, they realized it was gone. They questioned why they were even thinking about the loss in the first place. They were so weak, so they did not know. When the time and space of their beings reversed, the cause that was related to them was also wiped out. This was just the beginning. Powerful creatures could fight against the power, but they could imagine the creatures around their bodies fading away when they erased and cast off the cause and fates that had already come to pass. It was hard to imagine how shocked they all felt. Damn it. What does Qin Xiu want to do? In God Chaos Party, there was a scary roaring noise. They felt the changes taking place inside their bodies. They were very strong. Although they were not strong enough to reverse time, they were shockingly able to notice that parts of their memories were starting to fade away. With how much they had evolved, they could even remember something small quite vividly. They weren't the type to forget things. Therefore, there was only one possibility. The cause connection was being wiped away, and that was why they could not remember things. The more powerful the creatures were, the more scared they became. They then noticed how hard it was to evolve. For time and space to reverse like this, it was something of a disaster to them. The scarier thing about all of this was that no one knew how or when Qin Xiu wanted to reverse time and space too. If he reversed time and space back to a time before they were even born, then that made them question if they would even exist, let alone reaching where they currently were. No one could accurately foretell what was going to happen. Damn it, Moon God said as a terrible look cast across her face. Qin Xiu is not really reversing time and space. He is just trying to wipe out this time and space. He is forcing the universe to go back to the time before his sister gave him her blood. Tai Yi looked at his power fading away and coldly said, "You are right. Time and space cannot be reversed. The only thing you can do is destroy it. You can wipe the slate clean and start all over again." If time and space really are wiped away, will the time and space of the past also continue? Moon God asked. Nobody knows because no one has done such a thing before, Tai Yi said. Even God spirits can only go back to the time and space of before. They go back to a certain scene. They don't really reverse things. Qin Xiu is the only one who has ever dared to think this way. By daring to think this way, he also believed he was able to do it. He was right too. So what? Even if he did believe it, that does not mean we have to throw away our lives on his behalf. No. We must do something to stop him. Moon God gnashed her teeth as she spoke. She had just found Tai Yi. Only recently had she been able to be with Tai Yi again. The events that transpired in her past had not been easy for her. Even if Qin Xiu could make things go back, she did not want to revisit her past. It is too late, Tai said. Now no one is capable of stopping Qin Xiu. Even if you and Crepe Myrtle work together, could you not succeed? Moon God asked. Tai shook his head. No. If Qin Xiu did not defeat Bauer, or if he did not activate Bauer's potential, it might have been fine. Now no one can stop him. Qin Xiu's power is pretty much like a universe. Plus, he has the Geno Tablet and its power in his grasp. The Geno Tablet is the ruler of the universe. It can use everything in the universe. Plus, with a Bauer that is equal to another universe, in this universe, there can be no other spirit power that is able to compete with such a sheer magnitude of power. We can only take risks with him. As Tai spoke, many scary creatures were breaking space and ascending. They were rushing to Qin Xiu, wanting to stop him from reversing space. God Chaos Party members, God Spirits, Break World elites from 2 universes, many humans from Space Garden. It did not matter if all these factions were friends or foes. They were all united now. They let bygones be bygones and faced their common enemy, Qin Xiu. Qin Xiu had become the enemy of every single elite across both universes. No one was willing to be erased from existence. A scary power was bullying everything in the universe. It looked like it could destroy everything, but Qin Xiu was holding Wanner and just sitting down atop the Geno Tablet. He was atop the tablet, but he was softly looking down on Wanner. He did not really care about the scary elites coming toward him in droves, covering the sky and the ground. He did not even raise his head to look at them. No matter how powerful those creatures were, the closer they got to Qin Xiu and the Geno Tablet, the more the power in their bodies faded away. It was fading fast. When their power struck Qin Xiu, the Geno Tablet released a halo to absorb all of their powers and leave no trace of them. The Geno Tablet absorbed their powers. Although they had become strong and scary, the speed at which they were being consumed was even faster. The whole universe was experiencing something horrifically scary. Many scary creatures were shaking. They were all angrily looking at Qin Xiu. They were all full of hate for him, but they were also all very scared. Some people did not want to give up. They kept trying to hit the Geno Tablet, but that cost them everything. Their powers became just supplied the Geno Tablet's power. They made time and space reverse even faster. Seeing their friends and families, and even enemies, fade away and cease to exist. The ground, rivers, and mountains all change. A sky full of stars move. And the sea and the fields reverse. Suddenly, hopelessness struck every aspect and facet of the universe. God, please save us. The sky was full of purple light. Every creature was reversing into nothing. Countless spirits were crying and begging for salvation. The god spirits they were begging were not safe either. The god spirits were also starting to fade. The god statues in the god temples were all gone because of the reversal of time. Time was going back to a point before the god spirits even existed. Chapter 34. $60, Mr. Please. Give us the order to fight back. Even if we get destroyed along with the universe, we do not want to be humiliated in such a fashion. Light Goddess and the other god spirits all kneeled before Crepe Myrtle, pleading for him to act. Damn it. Why has he still not revealed himself? Has it really not worked? Crepe Myrtle looked toward the evolution wall with a serious gaze. He stood up and approached it. Light Goddess gnashed her teeth and asked, Mister, do you mind telling me what you are waiting for? At a moment like this one, what more could you possibly be waiting for? Crepe Myrtle said, I am waiting for someone. I am waiting for a person who can bring hope to this bleak universe. He reached out his hand and pressed it against the evolution wall. He could not, however, feel any sense of movement in it. He even beat Bauer, Moment God said. Who else can bring hope to this universe? The only one who can stop Qin Xiu is you and us. Crepe Myrtle looked at Light Goddess. With a wry smile, he said, Do you guys think I do not want to reboot the universe? I am merely worried that rebooting the universe will not hurt Qin Xiu. As a matter of fact, it will speed up his plan. That is why I am hesitant to do it. You what? Light Goddess and the other god spirits were shocked by this. The old leader gave his power to me so I could shepherd the Geno Hall and become a worthy successor for leadership and earn reboot class powers. Although I am reboot class now, compared to the old leader of this hall, I am considerably inferior in strength. The old hall leader could use his power to reboot the entire universe, whereas I must use the Geno Hall's power to reboot the universe. After pausing, Crepe Myrtle developed a wry smile and proceeded to say, as for Qin Xiu, he did not just inherit the old leader's gene to earn a reboot blood pulse. He got the God Chaos Party leader's genes and broke through to universe class. You might be able to say Qin Xiu is stronger than the old leader was, and he has also borrowed the Geno tablet's power. He also has Baoer's power. His power is too strong to imagine, and he has reboot powers. He is stronger than me. If I use my reboot power, I might not be able to stop him. I might actually end up helping him. With Qin Xiu's tricky mind, this might be something he expects. I see, but things are in motion right now, Moment God said. If we are doomed to fail, you might as well try it. If you try it, it might work. If you don't, then there is no additional chance. You miss every shot you don't take. No, we still have another chance, Crepe Myrtle said as he turned his eyes to the evolution wall. The crazy battle god, who had not been speaking, suddenly asked, Mister, what is in the evolution wall? What other chance are you talking about? Did I not just tell you guys that I am waiting for someone to come out from here? Crepe Myrtle replied as he looked at the wall. Moment God suddenly realized something. Is the person you are talking about a human? What else could it be? Yes, it is a human. Crepe Myrtle nodded. Human? What human could possibly fight Qin Xiu? Moment God really could not think of who this might be. Even Baoer was beaten by Qin Xiu. So what human could possibly defeat Qin Xiu? Light Goddess looked weird as she made a suggestion. Could the person you are referring to be Han Sun? All of the god spirits felt a shock. They looked at Crepe Myrtle. He nodded in response. Moment God looked weirded out and said, Mister, do you think Han Sun can actually walk that step? Has it not been proven that he physically cannot take that step? And Master Baoer, who walked that step, actually failed. Even if he takes that step, he is not a comparable rival to Qin Xiu. Plus, he could not take that step to be a universe-class being. Crepe Myrtle wanted to open his mouth and say something, but the evolution wall suddenly started to shine. The thousands of race texts on the wall started to glow. They flickered like many suns. All of the god spirits looked at the evolution wall. They saw the flickering race names start to peel and crack. Feather, Sky, Real, Rob, Destroyed. Every race name was breaking. It was like every race was being destroyed. Every race text shattered, leaving cracks behind on the evolution wall's surface. Thousands of race texts shattered in a moment. In the end, the word fairy was destroyed as well. The whole evolution wall exploded to become a sky full of dust that was all over the place. Many god spirits looked at the evolution wall in shock. That thing had been there since the beginning of time. It was the foundation of the Geno Hall. Even god kings could not destroy it. It was a Geno stone that was never supposed to break. Amidst the dust and haze, a shadow emerged. Every god spirit's vision started to clear. Baoer. Chaos's body power was fading away. She still went for Baoer. She wanted to save Baoer from Qin Xiu's power. Much to her dismay and the dismay of everyone who was watching these terrible events unfold, the power of her attack was wholly drained and extinguished. It was taken from her. It was snatched out of her hands by the purple light she was desperately trying to repel. After that, she was left in a weakened state by the purple light. She was worse off than ever. She was God Chaos Party's leader. In the past, she was strong and famous. Now she felt hopeless and powerless. It was the type of scenario reserved solely for nightmares. Both of her hands were doing their best to get rid of the restrictions on Baoer, but nothing she tried to do worked. There was nothing that could be done. It also made her power weaker and weaker. Her spirit body was on the verge of breaking for good. Baoer was still stuck inside. Her universe power had been robbed. It became Qin Xiu's time and space reversal power. Baoer, Mother hurt you. Chaos was hopelessly holding the trapped Baoer. The sky and the ground were big, but the universe was bigger. But no one could save her dear daughter. No one could save the product of love that was produced with her lover. Dad. Dad will save me. Bauer was still struggling. She was fighting against the restrictions. She gnashed her teeth. Her voice was quiet, but it was confident. Chaos felt extremely bitter about things, but she didn't say anything. She did not want to. She did not want to break Bauer's resolute hope that there was still a chance. She did not want her to face the harsh reality that surrounded her. That is good, Chaos said with a sigh. She did not say anything more. She held Bauer tight and enjoyed the final, fleeting moments of her life. It is over. It is all over. In the God Chaos party, seeing so many friends fade away because of the reversing of time and space, with some being wiped out straight away, the scariness could not be described. The whole universe's cause connection was together. Erasing one person's cause wiped out the people who were connected to them. The items and the people were all connected as well. It all led to more people and substances being removed. In that cause connection net, the weaker ones would be wiped out first. Then the whole cause net would be taken away and scrubbed clean. In the end, they would be completely erased from time and space. No, even the break world creatures were scared and trembling now. The normal, living creatures were killed in greater swathes and even faster. In the universe of kingdoms, many humans just vanished. They would be speaking in 1 second, and be gone in the next. The Geno universe was very much the same. The whole of the Geno universe was in the grip of fear and hopelessness. Many creatures begged for the protection of the god spirits. When they saw the Geno hall burn with a purple flame and falling in space, every being felt more hopeless and terrified than they had ever been before. Are the gods destroyed too? Everyone had a bad feeling. Mother. No. Mother. Han Linger held Ji Yanran. Her tears kept dropping. Ji Yanran's body was returning to its youth. Time kept going backward without pause. From a married woman to a young woman, from a woman to a teen, from a teen to a child the size of Han Linger, Ji Yanran's body was changing. At the same time, the things she had been through and her history were wiped out. In Space Garden, many students were being turned into babies because of the reversal of time. This world is going to end. Sky Palace leader leaned against a stone pillar. He saw a purple light rise across the universe and felt bitter. Hopelessness was everywhere. Ding. A crunchy noise was heard throughout the sky and across the whole world. It was not loud, but it was very clear in everyone's ear. In that universe, which was covered by a weird purple light, there was a small gold light. When the people watching were able to recognize the gold light was actually a golden coin, the people screamed, "Dollar!" Chapter 3461 by Dollar's Name, The End. A coin soared through space. It dinged when hit the Geno tablet. It was like it had been drawn to the big block like a magnet. It stuck to the surface of the Geno tablet. The Geno tablet had been like a full-on generator seconds before. Now it was as if it had stopped. The reversal of the universe suddenly came to an end. The two universes were dead silent. The whole world was covered in purple light. Countless creatures had a purple light surrounding them, but they did not keep on reversing as they did before. All of the creatures were shocked as they looked at Dollar. They did not quite know what was going on. They did, however, muster a glimmer of hope, even if they were afraid that renewed hope might buckle and break any second. Da, da. In the silent universe, footsteps rang out obscenely loud. Everyone turned their heads in the direction of those footsteps to look. Qin Xiu had been softly staring at Wanna the whole time. Now he was willing to move his vision away from the slumbering Wanner and peer into the purple light. A shadow emerged from the purple light and came close to the Geno tablet. The shadow became clearer as time went by. When the figure reached the Geno tablet, everyone was able to discern his face. Han Sun, Senmu, Dollar, Wealth God. Suddenly, many people were screaming aloud these names throughout the universe. The names were all different, but they were all spoken in shock and exuberant glee. Chaos was holding Bauer while this happened, anticipating the end of all. She opened her eyes wide and looked at Han Sun with sheer disbelief. I knew Daddy would come. Because her universe powers had been taken, Bauer was like a baby again. Her small face was very happy. Han Sun looked at Qin Xiu, and Qin Xiu looked at him. Han Sun quietly said, Qin Xiu, give it up. Are you going to be the hero of this tale, and come here to judge me for my sins? Qin Xiu clutched Wanner and looked at Han Sen disdain. I have never claimed to be a hero, and I am not capable of judging you, Han Sen said. If I were in your position, perhaps I would have sought to do the same thing you are doing. Qin Xiu's eyes lit up with surprise. But you still stand in front of me looking to fight me. Han Sen looked into space. After looking at Bauer, Ji Yanran, Han Linger, Han Littleflower, and the others, he looked sad. His expression quickly changed to one of certainty. When he looked at Qin Xiu again, his face remained unchanging. That is because the people I care about are all against you, Han Sen said. You will destroy the universe for Wanner, so I will protect this universe for the people I care about. It does not matter. Making the distinction between what is righteous and what is evil, right or wrong, is all down to luck. Between you and I, only one of us can protect that which we want to. Qin Xiu laughed. You are right. We are the same kind of people. This fight cannot be avoided. Unless you give up the idea of reversing time and space. Han Sen asked, would you? I will not, Qin Xiu replied. Would you? I will not either. Han Sen's answer came without a glimpse of hesitation. Very good. Qin Xiu stood up. He put Wanner down on his seat softly. He kissed her on the forehead and said, Wanner, wait here for me. Your big brother will save you from this nightmare very soon. When he turned around, he was like an angel turning into a demon. When Qin Xiu looked at Han Sen, his soft face was totally gone. His eyes looked certain and impervious to change. Although I was controlled by chaos's will back then, most of the time, I was sleeping. I could still feel your existence. It was, however, a magical feeling. I did not know who you were until the Geno prototype armor's shell completely melted, and my own will started to assert control. Then, every now and again, I was able to feel you exist. Qin Xiu looked at Han Sen and went on to ramble. To me, you are the closest stranger. When I felt you for the very first time, it was very weird. What feelings were they? Han Sen asked. You and I are too similar, Qin Xiu coldly said. If we weren't going to become friends, it was obvious we would become enemies. It looks like your predictions were fairly accurate, but I wish you were not accurate, Han Sen said with a sigh. Qin Xiu looked at Han Sen and said, you practice with 4 Geno arts. One came from Sister Moon's Cold Sutra. Blood Pulse Sutra came from Blood Legion. Dongxian Sutra came from Xianmen, and the story of genes hailed from my own first life. If you have practiced Cold Sutra to the max, and you have taken that step and purified your genes, the small universe you will create must be incredible. Blood Pulse Sutra is not for fighting, but it can make a small universe. It would be the best out of the 4 Geno arts. The Dongxian Sutra is a strong Geno art. Perhaps when that reaches the max, it can renew the universe, but it will not be your small universe alone. After saying all of that, Qin Xiu stopped talking. You revealed the first 3 skills, so why don't you reveal the story of genes? Han Sen asked. Because it is a skill that cannot be practiced. When I woke up with my past memories, I debated whether or not to practice the story of genes. Ultimately, I gave it up. After pausing, Qin Xiu looked at Han Sen and said, in fact, what helped you to progress with the story of genes was not chaos. It was me. It was you. Han Sen looked at Qin Xiu in shock. He seemed to be surprised by this answer. Qin Xiu said, Chaos wanted to help you. After all, she had studied the Sky People. But it was a shame she was not the one who created the story of genes. She did not understand the story of genes much. If I did not do something when she did it secretly, even with the Geno prototype armor's help, you would have been unable to learn the story of genes. Why did you decide to do that? Han Sen asked. I wanted to know if the story of genes only led to a dead end or not, Qin Xiu said with a smile. Now that you have seen what you have, I know for certain it is not a dead end. You have walked its path. I do not know if I have walked it or not, or if I am even on its path at all, Han Sen said. It is a shame that between you and I, only one of us can go forward, Qin Xiu said. A purple light started to rise. The Geno tablet's words, which had been so dim, suddenly started to shine brightly. The coin that was stuck on the Geno tablet bounced away and returned to Han Sen's hand. Time stopped reversing earlier, but now it was starting again. It was stronger than before too. Time was soaring back. The whole universe was going back. Countless creatures were fading away. The spirits that went to the Geno Hall were going to the Geno Tablet. The souls that were in the Geno Tablet did not reincarnate. They were absorbed by the Geno Tablet. The whole universe has already combined. I am the universe. The universe is me. If you seek to defeat me, you will have to destroy the universe. If you cannot defeat me, the universe will restart from the point when I was the happiest with Wanner. Qin Xiu's body's purple light combined with the Geno Tablet and the universe. He was like a sky god that could control the sky and the ground. Hansen looked dim. He looked at the countless planets like they were countless souls flying. Many planets faded away. Many planets that did not exist or only existed in ancient times were now appearing. His fight against Qin Xiu was not just about one person against another. It was not that simple. It was about fighting against the universe. Hansen did not know if his decision was good or bad for the universe, but he knew that if the universe did exist, Ji Yanran and Bauer would exist. Stop him. The God Temple fell. The Geno Hall fell. Annihilation class God spirit bodies began to fade. A sky full of God spirits screamed together. It was not just the God spirits. The God Chaos Party, the universe of kingdoms, 10,000 race genes, countless creatures, and many more cried endlessly. They all screamed and cried. Countless creatures cried and prayed for salvation. The universe was covered by purple mist. Everything was breaking to its relentless encroachment. Come, let me see the powers of your little universe. I want to see if you will be able to stop my will. Qin Xiu was like a demon god. His voice echoed through the universe. I cannot wake up my little universe. Hansen's body was covered by purple light, but his voice could be heard by everyone. Has he not woken up a small universe? Chaos's face changed. Crepe Myrtle looked bitter. Was the evolution wall's suppression still not enough to wake up his body? The universe is too big, Hansen said. My heart is not big enough. I cannot keep that much stuff inside. All I have are my coins. Now I will give them to you. He raised his thumb and fired a coin at Qin Xiu. In the purple universe, that coin became a smart and outstanding showcase. It went through the purple air and kept spinning toward Qin Xiu with both sides flapping. Qin Xiu's eyes froze in place. The whole universe's purple light was going to the coin. It was trying to stop the coin's advance. The coin was rapidly spinning, and it was not stopping. Its front and back were showing, bouncing back the purple light. The coin was like a gold bolt of lightning that was coursing through space. It rushed before Qin Xiu without slowing down for a second. Qin Xiu frowned. He opened his hand and sought to grab the coin. Qin Xiu looked at the coin and asked, "Is that the power of the story of genes? It is very unusual. My universe powers cannot control it." The coin looked old. There was only the number 1 on its front. It looked like it was only worth $1. Qin Xiu wanted to flip the coin over and see what was on the back, but he noticed the coin was stuck in his hand. He was unable to turn it over. Hansen looked at Qin Xiu and said, "No, this is not the story of genes' power, but you can still say it is. Are you saying that the story of genes is a part of you, but this is not a part of the story of genes?" How smart was Qin Xiu? He immediately understood Han Sr. Yes, Hansen said. That means by destroying it you will be destroyed too. Isn't that right? Qin Xiu looked weird. His eyes flickered. A purple mist gathered along his body. It was like there was a demon covering his body. Qin Xiu clenched his palm tight. A scary power exploded in his fist. He was going to crush the coin into dust. In the next second, Qin Xiu's face changed. He started to look glum. His fist was shaking. His fingers were moving. Some gold, rainbow light came out from the gaps in his fingers. His body's purple light was going to the coin very quickly. What kind of power is this? Qin Xiu's face changed to something ghastly. His whole body had been trapped by this coin. It was getting sucked into the coin. Qin Xiu used every power he could, but he could not stop his body from getting sucked into the coin. Qin Xiu held his arm. His hands were getting slowly sucked into the coin. Hansen said to him, Although I did not wake up a small universe, I can eat any universe I choose. That includes your small universe. Maybe I am not a human anymore. How is such a thing even possible? Qin Xiu's eyes trembled, but only for just a moment. In the next moment, Qin Xiu's other hand acted like a knife to cut off the arm that had a hand holding the coin. That is useless. Han Sen shook his head. Qin Xiu cut off his arm, but his arm was sucked into the coin. Qin Xiu's body was still unable to escape the suction of the coin. He was still getting sucked in. His body was falling into the coin. No matter how much power he exploded with, he could not escape or deny the coin's force of suction. Suddenly, half of his body had been sucked very close to the coin. I did not expect this to happen. I really did not expect this. The power of the story of genes is so strong. If I had known this sooner, why would I bother getting the Geno prototype armor? I did not expect this. I will lose to my own Geno art. Qin Xiu laughed maniacally. His laugh was a bit strange. It was a bit sad, but it was also a bit happy. One could not describe what sort of smile he had. Yes, you have lost to yourself, Han Sen said. No. I did not lose yet. Even if I die, if Wanner can assert happiness, then that is already enough. Qin Xiu looked at the Geno tablet and Wanner. He was happy and said, Wanner, goodbye. Even if Big Brother is gone, you must continue to live happily. Oh no. Crepe Myrtle's face changed. He wanted to remind Han Sen about something, but it was too late. Seeing Qin Xiu's mouth cough up some blood, a purple blood light was spat at the Geno tablet. Almost at the same time, Qin Xiu's body was sucked in the coin completely. That coin showed its back now. There was a purple shadow behind the coin. It was Qin Xiu's face. Behind Qin Xiu was a universe that looked like a star. God. One universe coin. There was a voice in Han Sen's brain, but he did not bother listening to it. The Geno tablet absorbed the purple blood light Qin Xiu spat out. It suddenly started to run madly. The universe's time and space collapsed. It was like it was the end of the world. Oh no. The Geno tablet is the controller of the universe. Qin Xiu is dead, but he activated the Geno tablet's self-destruct command, which was the last resort. The whole universe is going to be buried alongside Qin Xiu. Light Goddess's face looked pale. No, Qin Xiu did not want the Geno tablet to self-destruct, Crepe Myrtle said. He wanted to bring the universe back to Wanner's time. Moment God gnashed her teeth and screamed, Han Sen, hurry up and stop the Geno tablet. It cannot be allowed to continue. The Geno Hall was breaking, it is futile, Crepe Myrtle looked said. Only Qin Xiu can command the Geno tablet. Qin Xiu is dead. No one can command the Geno tablet. If you want to destroy the Geno tablet, it means you destroy the universe. If you do not destroy it, with the Geno tablet controlling the universe now, it will take the universe back to that time. That means it is game over for everything now. All of the god spirits were very sad. The whole universe was full of apocalyptic cries. It did not matter if the people were from the universe of kingdoms or the Geno universe, since several places were falling. Countless spirits succumbed and died to the disaster. The spirits were like stars rising above a sea. They all flew to the Geno tablet. Han Sen, save Bauer first. Chaos could tell the universe's reversal could not be stopped. She wanted Han Sen to save Bauer first and foremost. I will save Bauer, but that which I need to save is not just Bauer. Han Sen reached out his hand and pulled a stone clock out of his pocket. He knocked the stone clock's surface and said, by Dollar's name, a sky full of everything will listen to me. Make everything go back to normal. Via Han Sen's voice, the madly running Geno tablet suddenly stopped. In the next second, the Geno tablet that was consuming everything suddenly spit out the power it had just absorbed. The universe that had been destroyed by the reversal started to come alive again. A sky full of everything, and all creatures felt their powers return. Space was becoming lively again. It was a very joyous occasion. Everyone raised their heads to the sky and looked at the shadow of the Geno tablet. The shadow was burned into the deepest part of their brains. They would never forget this. Chapter 3462 Epilogue. On a nameless island, Han Sen and his family were having a vacation. Yanran, do you want to eat this? Hansen put down a slab of grilled meat in front of a 7 or 8-year-old girl. The little girl rolled her eyes. She accepted the meat, ate it, and said, "Big uncle, I said that we really should not be together. I do not like being with an uncle, no matter how well you treat me. But I like Lolita." Hansen squinted his eyes and smiled. "Big uncle, you have watched too much bad hentai." The little girl curled her lips. "Maybe." Hansen shrugged. He kept cooking the food Ji Yanran used to love. Before Qin Xiu had taken Human King's body and asserted control of the Geno Tablet, Han Sun had refined the Geno Tablet's spirit and used the Geno Tablet. Qin Xiu did not know that during the 33 fights, the Geno Tablet had moved its true spirit to Han Sun and his Sky Clock. Thus, Han Sun was able to use the Sky Clock's Geno Tablet real spirit to make the Geno Tablet stop reversing time and space. That way, the universe would not have to collapse. But the cause chain was destroyed too poorly. A lot could not be recovered, so the universe did not go back to the way it was before time was reversed. Ji Yanran was a prime example of this. She was turned back into a 7 or 8-year-old girl, forgetting everything that happened to her after that age. She did not believe Han Sun was her husband, and she did not believe Little Flower and Linger were her children. Han Sun thought of many ways to convince her. Unless Han Sun could be like Qin Xiu and reverse time and space again, there was no other way of bringing Ji Yanran back to the way she used to be. But Han Sun was not Qin Xiu. His body did not have a small universe. He could not do what Qin Xiu did and reverse time. "Stop. Stop it." Sky Clock was screaming aloud from the sea. Bauer and Linger were treating it like a surfboard on the sea. Although the Sky Clock's Geno Tablet real spirit could return to the Geno Tablet, it did not want to go back. It was willing to stay inside the Sky Clock. Small Cat and Little Silver were lying down on the beach. They were enjoying the sunlight together. They were so lazy that they did not even look awake. "Oh, 2 princesses? The juices you want are here." Sheep's Neck had a bow tie around it. He was holding up a plate. He looked very sexy as he walked up to Small Cat and Little Silver. Little Star was playing in the sea. He was making big waves for Linger and Bauer to play on. Xieqing King was wearing a flowery shirt and some beach pants. He was wearing sunglasses like usual, and he had a cigar hanging out of his mouth. There was an easel in front of him. He was holding a pen, but it was unknown what he was drawing. Zero and Little Angel were busy serving other people. They were like 2 busy butlers. Although Hansen told them they could recline and enjoy their lives, they still never took a day off and worked all the time. It seemed as if they were used to a life like that. Little Gold was lying down next to Ji Yanran. It was fast asleep, not willing to wake up all day. "You sure know how to make the most of your life," an elegant man said as he approached. "You and your whole family came for a vacation, and you let others be the ones to clean up after you. Where did you find the time to come here?" Hansen looked at Crepe Myrtle with shock. The universe was badly broken. The Geno Tablet had given up control of the universe because of the Sky Clock, so the Geno Hall had stepped in to take control of the universe again. Many things in the universe required the attention of Crepe Myrtle and the other god spirits to fix. Hansen was not interested in being a leader of the universe. He was not willing to take over the universe. Space Garden had already given him enough of a headache. He let Qin Xian and Huang Fujing stay there and manage it on his behalf. The rise of humans in the sanctuaries, however, could not be stopped. Despite Han Sun not wanting to take control of the universe, he waited for every generation of humans to be born in the sanctuaries. It was only a matter of time before humans took over the universe. "I do not want to see you either, but there is one thing I must tell you about." Crepe Myrtle sat down next to Han Senator. He picked up a slice of meat that Han Sun had cooked excellently and started to eat. "Big uncle, you guys talk for a while. I will go and play with Bauer." Ji Yanran stood up nicely and ran to the sea. Crepe Myrtle watched Ji Yanran leave and asked, "Is there no other way? If you do not have a way to sort this out, why should I have a way?" Han Sun replied, "I will just have to wait for her to grow up before I can pursue her heart again." "That does not look like it will be easy," Crepe Myrtle said with a laugh. "She does not like uncles right now. So tell me, did you come all the way down here just to laugh at me?" Hansen rolled his eyes at him. Crepe Myrtle took back his smile and seriously said, "That universe coin you spoke about. I used the Geno Hall's power to analyze it, but the universe's rules are broken too much right now. There are many places and things that are unknown, so we are unable to find it." Hansen frowned. He had used the coin to suppress Qin Xiu. He consumed Qin Xiu's little universe. It became a universe coin. Back then, he just wanted to stop the Geno tablet from reversing time and space. He did not take the universe coin. When he went back to look for it, the universe coin was gone. Now Hansen still did not know what point or merit the universe coin had. He also did not know where it might have ended up. Crepe Myrtle shook his head. He looked serious as he said, "If it was because you were unable to find it, then it is not a big deal. But I suspect someone has done something. They took the universe coin." Hansen suspected that too, but he could not imagine who might have taken the universe coin. Hansen looked at Crepe Myrtle and asked, "Who do you think took the coin away?" Crepe Myrtle's eyes were like the stars. They were very mysterious. He did not speak. A while later he looked out across the sea. It looked as if he was not paying attention. He finally said, "I cannot think who might have taken the universe coin at a time like this." Hansen looked at Crepe Myrtle and asked, "Do you not want to think about it, or do you simply not know?" "I do not know." Crepe Myrtle still looked out across the endless sea. At the same time, in a fallen and collapsed area of time and space, a shadow entered a no-man's land. If Hansen saw the shadow, he would have been so shocked that he would have screamed. It was Ancient Devil, who had died a long time ago. Ancient Devil was flying through space. Not long later, amidst all that emptiness, he found a floating island. That island had flowers, grass, and a small wooden house on it. There was a cloth in that small wooden house. One big word was written on the cloth. Destiny. Near the cloth, a white-haired man was sipping tea. No one would have believed that in that broken zone of space, a place like this existed. "Mister, the stuff you wanted is here." Ancient Devil arrived at the wooden house and bowed to the old man who was sipping tea. At the same time, he brought a coin out in front of the old man with white hair. "After all these years, I must thank you dearly," the white-haired old man quietly said after accepting the coin. "Without you, there would be no Ancient Devil. This is what I should be doing." Ancient Devil sounded polite. "I let you follow little chaos until the test ended. Then you were supposed to be let free," the white-haired man said while he played with the coin. His hands were drawing a star universe symbol. He looked weird as he spoke. "I did not expect the test to produce an accident. Human Alpha got free, and he stirred up a whole lot of stuff. I am sorry. Fortunately, in the end, things have been put back on track. We now have permission to enter that door." Ancient Devil looked weird too. "We never thought your accidental chess move would complete your will." The white-haired old man looked very strange. A long time later he said, "After World King God's fight, Little Sen's life should have ended. I reversed the sky and changed all of the fate so he could keep going. But he is already a man without a life. No one can predict his future now. I did not expect he would become a gene consumer. It is fortunate he is not ambitious and would not enter that door. Otherwise, ha!" After the white-haired old man said that, he weirdly laughed. He stopped talking. He grabbed the cloth that was about fate and tore it in two with one hand. It was like the world had been cut apart. An old mysterious door appeared in space. If one looked closer, one would find out that the golden door was the same golden door Golden Growler could release. "Mister, are you really going in?" Ancient Devil looked at the white-haired old man who stood just outside the golden door. He looked hesitant. The white-haired old man looked back at Ancient Devil. "I think you already know the answer." "I am not him." "Yes, but you are you. No matter what, to me it is the same." Ancient Devil lowered his head after speaking. "I want to see where he will want to go, and what kind of world it will be," the white-haired old man said. He held the coin and threw it at the golden door. The golden door had a slot that precisely fit the coin. The moment the coin landed against the golden door, there was a noise. The golden door started to open. At the same time, the golden door released a weird noise. "Door to the sanctuaries has been opened. You will now leave the sanctuaries and lose all protections." "Mister," seeing the white-haired old man walk to the golden door, Ancient Devil could not help but scream. The white-haired old man did not look back. He stopped and quietly said, "Do not tell anyone else about me. Just pretend I never existed." "Not even Mr. Leader?" Ancient Devil asked with a bitter look. The white-haired old man said, "I am not him. The man she liked is dead." He walked forward and entered the golden door. Boom, boom. An old and heavy door closed. Then, it was gone as if it had never existed. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.